All right, guys, so we finally got the E36, making some progress on it. All right, so this is the old setup that came out the car. This is the new one. So actually, I'm not really sure why, but this one doesn't have a fuel level sensor. My old one does, and I want to keep that just for comfortability, and I want, to see my gas level. We're gonna switch this to here. All right, guys, so this is what I decided to do as far as my fuel pump setup. So basically, I put the new Walboro 450 in the new sender. I put the fuel level sensor from the old sender on this one, and I wired it up to these two contact points that I made right here. They have the threaded part right there, so I'll just put pigtails on the original harness and put them on there for contact. And then of course the original pins right here that actually power the fuel pump are still wired in. So this is pretty good. Put it in the car, it works and everything with the relay, turns on. Fuel level sensor still works, and this is what I'm going to be running in the car. So I'm going to show you guys what we're doing as far as the fuel pump, the relay, the wiring, everything for the fuel pump that we're going to need. I'm going to go ahead and pop open the trunk, and we're going to start taking care of the fuel pump, the power that it needs, and we're going to go ahead and do that now. All right, guys, this right here is the wiring harness you're going to need for the fuel pump. It comes with a relay, an inline fuse, and it also has all of the wires you're going to need, such as your ground, your signal wire, and your power wire. So this is very, very simple. You have your 40 amp relay, you have your 30 amp fuse. So you're gonna go straight to your battery. It's gonna go through the fuse. It's gonna go straight all the way down, depending on if you cut this or not, which I probably will, straight to your relay. Then you have your ground, which is gonna be the black one. It's gonna do the same thing. Gonna go to the ground. The grounding point is gonna be somewhere in your chassis. So you're gonna have to use a pigtail, screw this to your chassis for ground. Everyone pretty much knows how to do that. This is your orange wire right here. So maybe depending on which one you order, you might have a different color wire, you might have a different label. This one says orange to the fuel pump. Your fuel pump is gonna have a wire. It's gonna be a green wire with a purple stripe that goes down it. You're gonna splice that wire. One side of that wire goes to the fuel pump, the other side of that wire goes to the ignition. So this one right here is gonna come from the relay to the fuel pump side of that wire. The gray one, however, it's gonna go from the relay to the side of that wire you cut that goes into your wiring harness to the ignition switch. So when you turn the ignition on, this one gets the signal because it's a signal wire. It's going to send power to the relay, and then it's going to send power through the actual power wire and power your fuel pump. So very, very simple. You have your power to the fuel pump, your signal wire, power to the battery, ground to the car. Only 4 wires. I'll show you guys what that wire in the actual fuel pump harness looks like. You're only cutting 1 wire in the fuel pump harness, so it's very, very simple. So basically, we're gonna be sourcing power from here. With the trunk, you're gonna pick a spot, you're gonna sand all the paint off so it's bare metal, and that's where you're gonna attach your ground so you have a good ground to chassis. We have our fuel pump wiring set up, going back to the relay, to the battery, and yeah, that's pretty much how it should look. This green wire right here with the purple stripe going down it, that is the wire that plugs into your fuel pump. And if you go down the line, through the cover, you're gonna tap into that line here. You're gonna cut it. When you turn the key, it's gonna send power to the one side that comes from the ignition to your brown wire right here. It's gonna send a signal to your relay. Then power is gonna be sent through this orange wire to the other side of that green wire that goes to the actual fuel pump, and it's gonna power the fuel pump. My key, put in the ignition. When I turn that, this is gonna buzz and you're gonna hear the relay click. So this car right here has 120,000 miles. We are doing the timing cover because we want to do the chains, tensioners, and so that actually came out better than expected. All right, guys, so I've had a lot of people say to put 2 dabs of RTV right there and right there on those 2 corners. And then we're going to put 2 on the top of the timing cover when we put it back on too, so that when the head goes on, it makes a nice little seal. But for now, because the oil pan gasket is actually brand new, because we did replace the oil pan, but because we only took the timing cover off, we want to make sure it seals. Timing cover that we cleaned up real nice. We got the new gaskets and everything, and we're gonna throw it on the car. I went ahead and put 2 small dabs of black gasket maker on the bottom right corners that meet the oil pan. And then I use, of course, the oil pan gasket is brand new, so I just popped it right back on there. And then I did 2 small dabs of RTV right here, and right here I put some gasket maker. All right guys, so here's the engine block. It's really clean. I actually went ahead and cleaned some of the pistons, some of the grime off of there as well. We have the timing cover back on. We took it off, we replaced the chain, we replaced the guides, and I'm going to be replacing the tensioners as well. So basically, if you go to FCP Euro, they have the entire timing refresh kit, and that's basically what I ordered. It came with the chains, guides, the timing cover seal, and cover gaskets. There's one on both sides, so there's one on this side, and there's one on that side. So basically, it comes with everything. We went ahead and installed that, so now I'm going to go ahead and set the camera down, torque down all the bolts. I think they're only 11 foot-pounds, so I already tied them down, but I'm going to go ahead and torque them down. They're probably already over torqued, but I'm going to go ahead and make sure. And yeah, I took the chain off, and it didn't really seem like the chain needed to be replaced, but since I had the timing cover off, went ahead and replaced them anyways. The crank bolt I was actually get off by myself, and surprisingly easily. I think it's been replaced before. The car only has 120,000 miles, so with some decent leverage I was able to get that off, and I'm really happy about that, because for some people that one bolt holds the entire progress. They might have to take it to a shop, weld some new attachments on there, but I just used a breaker bar and broke it loose. This is a nice little tool I used for the timing cover and the timing bolt. So this starts at 25 foot-pounds and it goes all the way up to 250 foot-pounds. The timing bolt is actually supposed to be torqued down to 300 foot-pounds, but I just used this and went to 250 foot-pounds on this until it beeped, and then I went further until I actually saw it hit 300, and then I stopped. As far as the timing bolts, this thing will only beep when it hits 25 at its minimum, but I can look at the actual digital gauge on here and see that I'm torquing everything to 11, even though it won't beep at 11 foot-pounds, but I can look at it and know that everything is torqued down to 11 foot-pounds. So really nice tool. I think it was like 40-30 bucks, I'm not really sure, but it was very cheap, and it'll help me get through a lot of other things, such as the main bolts, the ARP bolts, when I have to torque those down. For those, I might just get a physical torque wrench from a buddy of mine, but I think that this will work so far. And yeah, that's pretty much it. A bit stubby, I know. So because it's digital, from what I've read, it's supposed to actually compensate for the fact that you have to use adapters and extensions, possibly, as long as the extensions are not super long. Like if you're using a short extension such as this right here, then this should actually be able to compensate for that extension. Alright, so we made a lot of progress on the car today. We have the fuel pump back installed, the relay, we put the timing cover back on. So now we have the timing cover, we have new gaskets, new chains, new guides, and that's pretty much ready to go. Just got a call from my guy who works at the resurfacing shop. The head is ready to be picked up, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the head. Hopefully this weekend we can get the head back on the car, and then we can start mocking up things like our MAC valve, our fuel rail and fuel lines, and our intake manifold. Maybe even some charge pipe hosing, so we can definitely get a lot of progress done once we get the hurdle of putting the head back on the block. So stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you guys next time.